let you know when that begins.
Okay.
So we are recording and ready whenever you are, Ben.
Thank you, Chuck. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy New Year to all. I'm calling this meeting to order at 1:02 p.m. My name is Ben Mesa. I'm chair of the City of San Diego Commission for Arts and Culture Public Art Committee. We're going to do a quick roll call to confirm committee member attendance. When I call your name, please unmute yourself and say present. Commissioner Jason Wooper.
Present.
Linda Caballero Sotelo.
I don't expect Linda to be joining us today.
Okay. Anthony Graham.
Present.
Melinda Guillen.
Present.
Larry Herzog.
Present.
Anyun Park.
Present.
Commissioner Doreen Shoburn. Tiffany Wei-Ying Bears.
Present.
Thank you. Your attendance has been noted. Also joining us today is Commission for Arts and Culture staff, including Chief of Civic Arts Strategies, Christine Joan, Senior Public Art Manager, Chuck Miller, and Civic Art Project Manager, Laura Bullock, as well as representatives from the City Attorney's Office. Before we get into today's agenda, I'm going to call on Chuck Miller to run down some of the guidelines for today's meeting. Chuck?
Thank you, Commissioner Mesa, and good afternoon, committee members and members of the public joining us. Happy New Year, everyone. As you've noticed, we are conducting this meeting as a Zoom webinar in effort to provide greater accessibility. Members of the public may join the meeting as webinar attendees in order to provide virtual non-agenda and agenda comment in real time. As a refresher, please make note of the buttons on the control bar to mute and unmute and turn your camera on and off. Please remember to stay muted when you are not talking and to unmute yourself when you speak. As a reminder, please type speak in the chat window when you would like to speak, make a motion or second a motion. Committee members should refrain from using the hand raising function. Please only use the chat window when you would like to speak, and Chair Mesa will call on you in order. And finally, please refrain from using the meeting chat for anything other than signaling that you'd like to speak in order to comply with the Brown Act. Thank you, and back to you, Commissioner Mesa.
Thank you, Chuck. Now for non-agenda public comment. The public was invited to submit public comment on agenda and non-agenda items via a web form accessible through the agenda and commissioner's website. Members of the public may also join this meeting as webinar attendees. If members of the public have submitted comments in writing via the web form, staff will read aloud public comment submitted per city comment protocol. I will call on Chuck to read aloud any non-agenda public comment or to call on any attendees who would like to provide comment. Chuck?
Thank you, Commissioner Mesa. There was no web form non-agenda public comments submitted, nor do I see that there are any members of the public in attendance. I would like to note for the record that Commissioner Doreen Schoenbrum joined us just now.
Thank you. And now for the chair's report. At our commission meeting in December, the commission voted unanimously to recommend that the executive director accept the artwork donation proposal by Kim Emerson for the Normal Heights Recreation Center. Thank you all for your flexibility with this alternative meeting time and as we continue to meet remotely. Next action is the committee meeting minutes. Chuck, please read any public comment for this item that was submitted in writing and call on any attendees that would like to provide comment on this item?
Thank you, Commissioner Mesa. There was no public comments submitted for this item.
Okay, thank you. I hope everyone had the opportunity to review the minutes from December 4th of 2020. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the minutes as they are? If you would, please type speak in the chat window, and when I call on you, verbally state the name, your name, and make a motion. Let's see, chat. Tiffany?
Sure, I move to approve the minutes for December 4th, 2020.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Hello?
Anyun? Yes, Anyun.
I second.
Thank you very much. We now have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay. If you'd like to speak, please type speak in the chat window. Now we will take a vote. I will call your name and you will respond out loud with yay, nay, or abstain. Remember that you do not need to have been present at the October meeting to vote or discuss. Okay, Commissioner Jason Whooper,
Yay.
Linda Caballero Sotelo, Anthony Graham,
Yay.
Melinda Guillen,
Yay.
Larry Herzog,
Yay.
Anyun Park,
Yay.
Commissioner Doreen Schoburn,
Yay.
Tiffany Wei Ying Bears,
Yay.
and my vote is a yay. Thank you. Okay, so we go to an action item here. The first action item is for the artist selection panelists for Bayer Park Public Art Project. Chuck, please read any public comment for this item that was submitted in writing and call on any attendees that would like to provide comment for this item.
There was no public comment submitted for this item.
Okay, thank you. Chuck, please provide an overview of the project and the staff recommendation.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Mesa. Lara, if we could go to the next slide. Thank you. So the Bayer Park Public Art Project will comprise a set aside for public art to accompany capital improvement projects, in this case, a new 8-acre park to occupy a presently vacant 43-acre lot south of Bayer Boulevard, just east of the 805 freeway in San Isidro. The new park will serve the communities of San Isidro as well as Otay Mesa, and will include ball fields, playgrounds, picnic areas, restrooms, a dog park, a skate park, and walking trails in addition to public art. Next slide, please, Lara. So for the public art project, an artist or artist team will be commissioned to create a permanent site-specific artwork that responds to the unique context of Bayer Park. The artist fee will be $170,000, and the RFQ will be open to artists authorized to work in the US. Artists will apply by submitting qualifications, and a 5-member ad hoc selection panel will evaluate applications and recommend one artist for contract award. Construction on the park is currently anticipated to be completed by the end of 2023. Next slide, please, Laura. So the staff recommendation is to advise the commission to recommend one public art committee member and one alternate, and Francisco Morales for the seat of the visual art and design professional to serve as 2 of the 5 ad hoc artist selection panelists. And Francisco Morales is an artist and currently the gallery director at Casa Familiar's Art and Culture Center, The Front in San Isidro. In addition to his role at the front, Morales creates electroacoustic compositions, multimedia installations, interventions, and performances that immerse the audience into a world rich in symbols and poetics. His works have been presented in Mexico, the United States, England, Spain, France, Italy, the Czech Republic, Canada, Colombia, Argentina, and El Salvador, in festivals such as the San Francisco Tape Music Festival, New York Electroacoustic Music Festival, Festival Transidio MX, and in Sonora, among others. So I will hand it back to you, Commissioner Mesa.
Yes. I will now ask if there are any volunteers from Public Art Committee members to fill one of the 5 selection panel seats for the SD practice. We will also need an alternate in the event that those who volunteer are unable to serve. Are there any volunteers? Please type speak in the chat window and I will verbally acknowledge you in order. On you?
I'd like to volunteer as one of the PAC members.
Would that be in the alternate role or the primary role?
Primary role.
Okay. And I would like to volunteer as the alternate.
Oh, can you hear me, Ben?
Yes.
Oh, good. I think I'm not doing this right because I was gonna, I just typed in I would like to be an alternate, and
Okay.
but no, you go ahead. I just wanted.
No, it's fine. I
No. But
okay.
the problem is I don't know if you saw what I wrote. Did you see that?
No.
Okay, so I'm doing something wrong then. I'm so sorry to hold you up. But,
Oh, no problem.
okay, so I just typed in to all panels I would be an alternate. What do I need to do to make sure that you get my messages during this meeting? Do I click on chat?
Yes, Commissioner Schoenbrum, if you click the chat button,
Yeah.
and make sure that the 2 says to all panelists, and then you just type your message at the bottom.
I did.
Okay.
Okay, well, it's okay. Just know that if, I'm there for you if you need me. Okay. I don't know where I'm getting these, but.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. So we've acknowledged the primary volunteer and the alternate volunteer. Thank you for that. Would any, yes? Okay, thank you for that. Would anyone like to make a motion to advise the commission to recommend the following panelists for the Bayer Park Public Art Project? It would be Anyung Park with alternate Ben Mesa and Francisco Morales for the seat of the visual art design professional with recommended alternates in no particular order to serve as 2 of the 5 ad hoc artist selection panelists. If you would, please type speak in the chat window and verbally state your name and make a motion.
I so move.
Okay. Anybody second? Anthony?
I second.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. We now have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If you would like to speak, please type speak on the chat window and you will be called in order of the request as a request comes in. Now we will take a vote. I will call your name and you will respond out loud with yay, nay, or abstain. Commissioner Jason Whooper.
Yay.
Linda Caballero Sotelo. Anthony Graham,
Yay.
Melinda Guillen,
Yay.
Larry Herzog,
Yay.
An-Yung Park. Thank you. Commissioner Doreen Schoberg,
Yay.
Tiffany Weighing Bears,
Yay.
and my vote is a yay. Thank you. Now the action item is the artist selection panelists for Here Comes the Neighborhood in Encanto. Chuck, please read any public comment for this item that was submitted in writing and call on any attendees that would like to provide a comment for this item.
Thank you, Commissioner Mesa. There was no comment submitted for this item.
Okay, thank you, Chuck. I'd like to now call on Christine to provide an overview of the project and the staff recommendations. Christine?
Thank you, Commissioner Mesa, and Happy New Year to everyone. So it's nice to see everybody's faces, albeit still virtually. So anyway, today I am presenting the staff's recommendation for panelists for the second iteration of the city's public art initiative, Here Comes the Neighborhood. So before I get to that, just to give you a little bit more background and remind you a little bit about the initiative. So this initiative is where the city is programming 4 neighborhoods, ideally biannually. So basically we're going to be bringing visually engaging, conceptually rich artworks that are permanent in nature to 4 different neighborhoods over time. So our first iteration of the initiative, as you all recall, we commissioned artists to explore San Ysidro and the development of artworks that respond to the neighborhood, both spatially and socially, as well as the artist's individual practices. So that iteration is nearing completion. So we anticipate that being complete in the first half of 2021. So we're gearing up for our second iteration. So as you might recall at a previous Public Art Committee meeting, we announced that Encanto is our next neighborhood that we'll be programming. So let's go to the next slide. So just to remind you of the initiative goals, which were established as part of our project plan a number of years ago, which is really the intent is to respond to sites in the Encanto neighborhoods, advance forward-thinking contemporary art practices, support conceptually rich artworks, and cultivate creative thinking, critical thinking, and otherwise really affect and connect to visitors and people in those neighborhoods. Let's go to the next slide. So the artwork opportunity is similar to how we had set up San Ysidro. So there'll be up to 3 artists that will be commissioned. And essentially they'll be exploring Encanto neighborhoods in Southeast San Diego. And again, it's really to develop permanent small scale artworks within that neighborhood setting. Go to the next slide. So as far as the artist selection process goes, this process will be a call for artists like we always do. And it's open to California and Baja California artists, similar to how the first iteration was set up. So artists will submit as they usually do based on qualifications for consideration for the commissions. So they'll submit things like a resume or CV and some kind of information about their interest in the call, as well as a work sample of their past work. There'll be a 5-member ad hoc selection panel that will evaluate the applications and make recommendations for the commissions to the city. So the panel composition will be 5 individuals. There'll be a public art committee member, 2 visual art design professionals, as well as a planning community representative and a community representative overall. So up to 3 artists, again, will be commissioned. Each artist will get approximately $35,000. So they will be able to design, fabricate, and transport the artwork with that fee, and then consult with the city regarding the installation of the artwork. Let's go to the next slide. So as far as the timeline goes, we're anticipating initiating the call in 2021 and being able to hire the artist, who will then start the process of design and with ideally completion in 2023. So now, today, we're asking you all to make some recommendations for 3 of the 5 panelists for Here Comes the Neighborhood, Encanto. So for this, as all our projects will need a volunteer from the Public Art Committee as well as an alternate. And staff is recommending 2 visual art seats for your consideration today. One, the first visual art seat, we're recommending the artist Roman DeSalvo for that seat. And for the second seat, for the visual art design professional, we're recommending Lonnie Batista Cabanilla for those seats, as well as the recommended alternates. There is a list of alternates that were included in the staff report, which would be called on if any of the panelists you recommend today were not able to serve. So just to give you a little bit of information on the 2 individuals that we're recommending for the visual art design seats. Most of you probably know Roman DeSalvo, since he has done and been under commission by the city in the past for public art projects that are now completed. So Roman is a conceptual artist based here in San Diego. He does work both in sculpture and installation. He has public art projects and permanent installations. Again, at the city of San Diego, most recently the Mission Trails field station. He's worked for Caltrans and done work at the Caltrans District 11 headquarters here, as well as at the Port of San Diego and Roaco Park, among other projects. He has a BFA from the California College of Arts and Crafts and an MFA from the University of San Diego. Roman is an actual resident of the Encanto neighborhood and previously served on the Encanto Neighborhoods Planning Group. So now that planning group has changed names. It's called the Chollas Valley Community Planning Group, but he's very informed about the Encanto neighborhood. So that is our first recommendation for a seat. And our second recommendation is Lonnie Batista Cabanilla. Lonnie has just, she's an arts administrator and a community organizer with over 15 years of experience in arts and culture here in San Diego. She actually was recently appointed just in the last month to be a manager of community impact at the San Diego Foundation. However, prior to that, she served over 8 years at the New Children's Museum here in San Diego. She was working with programs, and she collaborated with artists and community partners to develop innovative projects and installations. As you know, they do a lot of commissioning of contemporary artists and creating installations for children. So she was very involved with that. She has a BA in art from San Diego State, an AA in visual communication from the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, focused on human-centered design. She's also a board member and a managing director of Made in Paradise Hills, which is a night market focused in Southeast San Diego. So those are our recommendations today for your consideration for 3 of the 5 panelists for the next iteration of Here Comes the Neighborhood Encanto. And happy to answer any questions you might have. Oh, Ben, I'm not sure we can hear you.
There we are. Okay. Thank you, Christine. I will now ask if there are any volunteers from the Public Art Committee members to fill one of the 5 selection panel seats for Here Comes the Neighborhood Encanto. We will also need an alternate in the event that those who volunteer are unable to serve. Are there any volunteers? Please speak in the chat window and I will verbally acknowledge you in order. Anthony, did you type speak? Okay. All right. I will volunteer. I will volunteer.
You keep beating me, Ben. I put speak in. Okay, it's all right.
Okay. Well, I'd be happy to have you serve then.
Yeah, it's an alternative, right? Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for that. Would anyone like to make a motion to advise the commission to recommend the following panelists for the let's see, I lost my, for the Here Comes the Neighborhood Encanto art project. Ben Mesa with alternate Doreen Schoburn and Roman DeSalvo for the seat of the visual art design professional #1, and Lonnie Bautista Cabanilla for the seat of visual art design professional #2, with recommended alternates in no particular order to serve as 3 of the 5 ad hoc artist selection panelists. If you would, please type speak on the chat window and verbally state your name and make a motion. Tiffany?
Yes, my name is Tiffany Wying Barris. I'd like to move to recommend the following panel that was just stated by Ben Mesa. So panel seat 1 with Ben Mesa as the representing the Public Arts Committee, as well as alternate Doreen Stoneham. And then the 2 additional panel seats with the recommended artists, Roman DeSilvo and Lani Battisto Cabanilla, and followed by the recommended alternates that are in the amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany. Would anyone like to make a second?
I second.
Thank you. Jason, thank you for that. We now have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay. Now we will take a vote. I will call on your name and you will respond out loud with yay, nay, or abstain. Commissioner Jason Whooper.
Yay.
Linda Caballero Sotelo is not here. Anthony Graham.
Yay.
Melinda Guillen.
Yay.
Larry Herzog.
Yay.
Anyum Park.
So it looks like we've lost on.
Okay. Commissioner Doreen Schoburn.
Yay.
Tiffany Wei-Ying Bears.
Yay.
And my vote is a yay. Thank you. Okay, reports now. Chuck, please read any public comment for this item that was submitted in writing and call on any attendees that would like to provide comment for this item.
Thank you, Commissioner Mesa. There was no public comment for this item.
Okay, thank you, Chuck. Now I'd like to call on Christine to introduce the staff reports. Christine?
Thank you, Commissioner Mesa. So it's the start of a new year. So we wanted to take a few minutes just to kind of see where we are with the number of public art projects, refresh your memory on what milestones or phases that we're in for city public art projects. And when we really started crunching the numbers, I was a little surprised at how many projects we have going on. It's pretty exciting. Mm-hmm. So at this point in time, we have 23 active department initiated individual projects. So if you might recall, some of our initiatives have multiple projects associated with them. So that's 23 active individual public art projects that have been initiated by our office. In addition to that, we have 7 2% for art projects that are associated with city capital improvements right now. So we have 30 active individual public art projects happening in the city. I think that's unprecedented. I really do. I don't think that this program has ever seen so much activity. So it's pretty exciting. This number does not include 2 recently completed public art projects, which staff will brief you on in a few minutes. Recently completed were Choyos Water Operations Facility public art artwork, as well as the artwork for Fire Station 50. And then that number does not include also these ones that are coming online, the Bayer Park project, as well as the 3 associated with the new iteration of Here Comes the Neighborhood. So once those come on board and we really start moving forward with those projects, we'll be at 34 active individual public art projects. So we are touching and spreading out all throughout San Diego neighborhood. So it's a pretty exciting time for public art as far as the city of San Diego is concerned. So staff is going to kind of walk you all through and just give you a very brief synopsis of where we are with each of these projects. And so I'll hand it over to Chuck to take it away from there.
Thank you, Christine. Yes, exciting times. So to get into a little bit of detail about everything that's going on right now, we're starting off with a reminder about the Presidio Project, which you all, or most of you at least, saw the schematic proposal presentation of this past May. We are continuing to coordinate with the many interested parties involved in this project, and that project continues to move forward. We are anticipating some form of artist open house at some point in 2021, so we'll be keeping you posted about that as more details are developed. Next slide, please, Laura. So I'll hand it to you, Laura, for an update on Here Comes the Neighborhood San Isidro.
Okay, so thanks, Chuck. So yes, the 3 artists they've submitted their construction documents and they are currently being reviewed, and fabrication is nigh. So yeah, it's very exciting. The community is on board and excited as well. So we'll keep you posted.
And should I hand it to you, Christine, to go over about SD practice?
You're more than welcome to give them an update because you were there every day receiving these artworks.
Right. So SD practice, yes, it was my distinct pleasure to be basically hosting a kind of bulk delivery of the artworks that have been recommended for the SD practice initiative. So I actually just this past Wednesday received another batch. We are and some outliers are continuing to trickle in, but the majority of the works we received just prior to the holiday in December at the Central Library. Next slide, Laura. If you click that, we can just play through a little video, or right, here is Ingram Ober and Marisol Rendon delivering Marisol's drawing that was recommended by the panel this past fall. So yeah, we basically occupied the loading garage, or the loading dock for the Central Library, and coordinated very quick time slots for artists to arrive and drop off their works. And then we shuttled them up to the gallery, where we are currently condition verifying the works and kind of rewrapping them prior to locating them, which we're continuing to work on. So we're kind of investigating opportunities for where the works are going to be installed, and have started to make some preliminary curatorial decisions. So we'll be keeping you updated as we figure out where these works are going to live. In addition to some additional kind of web features and other types of things that we will be highlighting the initiative with in the coming months. So yeah, just some photos here of art handlers and our contract registrar kind of unwrapping the work and condition verifying them. So it was great to see a lot of folks I know, to meet a lot of new folks, and also to see the works in person. So I feel very honored and privileged to have had that opportunity. So that's where we are now with the SD Practice Initiative. Okay, and so with the Park Social Initiative, of that large number of projects that are currently active, 18 of them are in the Park Social Initiative. This is the Commission's first temporary public art project commissioning initiative in decades, basically. We've gone through the panel process. The artists have been recommended, and we are currently in process of contract finalizations. So as we get a little bit further along in that, we'll be very excited to let you know who those artists are and the vicinity they'll be working in the city. Yeah, so we'll be kind of over the course of the beginning of 2021, sort of fast tracking the design phase of these temporary artworks. So you'll be getting a lot more on Park Social very soon. So we're very excited about that. Next slide, please. And Lara, I'll hand it to you for this one.
Hello. So MR Barnadas is currently, we're in talks to hold a Meet the Artist event, which will happen fairly soon in the winter of 2021. The images on the left are her working on her practice, and then also her installation that was at the Central Library Art Gallery for the Fear No Art exhibition, which featured collection works. So stay tuned.
And so to remind you about Christian Mullers' project for the Pure Water North City facility. That project moves ever closer to breaking ground with construction after some delays. Christian is currently in the fabrication process. My understanding is that they're going to be conducting some tests with the armature of this very soon. So a working title is Daphne, and this is a 54-foot tall kinetic steel and fiberglass sculpture that will occupy the entryway to the new recycled water treatment facility in North University City. So excited that this project continues to move forward as well. And as most of you will recall from last month, we also continue to move forward with the Mesa Community Park Public Art Project by Kate Clark, AKA Parkeology. So we are, the next steps are basically organizing a kind of a virtual artist open house where that schematic proposal will be shared with the general public. We're hoping to get to that very soon, so stay tuned. Yes, so another kind of reminder, Mark Riegelman's contribution to East Village Green is currently in fabrication phase, and that project as well moves closer to breaking ground after some delays. So that will be a new park in East Village between 13th and 15th Street and F and G Streets, which are sort of currently kind of pretty forgettable lots right at the moment, but this park will totally change that part of the city once it's implemented. So we're excited to see those changes on the horizon as well. So stay tuned, and more updates on this soon. And so Choyas Water Operations Facility, this artwork by artist Rob Lay was installed this past summer. The facility, the new Choyas Water Operations Facility, will be opening to the public in the next month or so, we are anticipating. So the artwork is in place there now. So next slide, please, Laura. So the work is titled Ebb and Flow, of course, in connection with the functions of the water operations facility. And the color scheme comes directly from the color coding of the pipelines in the water facilities. It's made of hundreds of hand-spun aluminum funnels, essentially, that are then cut to these kind of modular kind of water forms. And from a distance, the kind of macro pattern that they make becomes apparent. But next slide, please, Laura. But when you get sort of closer up, it becomes sort of far more chaotic. So this is a really interesting artwork by a public artist who has a background in architecture. So this, while the facility is not currently open, you can do a drive-by and see the work pretty readily. So if, should you be curious, I would encourage you to do so. Next slide, Laura.
Okay, so this is the project in UTC by Susan Zoccola. It was also completed in the summer. This project was pretty interesting because like a lot of the kind of final touches and delivery happened in the midst of the pandemic, which we're still in. So the water element, this piece is called Rose Canyon, which is in reference to the surrounding canyon around the fire station. And so the water element was designed by hand, virtually by the artist. So it was her and her fabricator, like painstakingly, you know, video conferencing just to get every little curvature just right. And then it was delivered from Utah, which is where the fabricator is. The artist is based in Seattle, Susan Zoccola, and installed. So I was there on site, as well as the fabricator, and Susan via FaceTime. So it was a pretty, you know, adventurous installation. And it is also open, or the fire station itself is not open yet. The fire department still has to inhabit it, and some final touches need to be completed, but you can do a drive-by as well. And it's on Nobel Drive, so if you head east off of the 5 and just keep going, you'll see it. And so here's just another image of Kevin, the fabricator. He's in the foreground. And then this is the background of the artwork, which references the canyon, and then the blue element is obviously the creek that kind of flows through the canyon. So yeah, I guess we'll let you know when the fire station is open, but if you're curious and want to check out the artwork, it is viewable. And then this is another project that I'm managing by artist Mickey Iwasaki. It's in Children's Park, and fabrication is beginning soon. Construction documents have made it through, and yeah, we're on the precipice of seeing an actual object, so that's exciting as well. And this project is by Nate Page. So this is also a new park, the Canyon Street Pocket Park in Point Loma. So the community is really engaged with this project as well. I'm really excited about it. It's historically been a fishing community, so the artwork sort of references that, and then also the proximity to the ocean, and you kind of see the gradations of blues and greens, which kind of refers to the surrounding landscape, and it's a dock. So yep, fabrication on this project is beginning soon as well. And Nate Page is an artist based in LA. And then this is another new fire station. So Susan Logarezzi is designing an artwork for the Fairmount Avenue Fire Station. So she's in the design phase. Pretty soon we will see her schematic proposal. So we look forward to that.
Ben, I'm not sure we can hear you.
There we are. Okay, finally found the little microphone. Okay, so let's see what the agenda has. We finished the committee reports, and like Christine said, it's a very exciting time. Lots of projects going on, and some being completed. And I think we have a great year ahead of us in the Public Art Committee. Thank you, committee members. Reminder that our next Public Art Committee meeting will convene on Friday, February 5th. Until then, be safe, take care of yourselves and your family, and we can call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend,
Bye,
all.
everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good weekend. Great job.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye, Charles.